Welcome to this episode of the SpiritPreneur Symposium. I'm here in the Zoom studio with Lou Martin, and I'm so grateful that he agreed to join me. And I just want to ask you, Lou, how did you get started offering, I call them spirit services. How did you get started offering your spiritual services?
Right. Great question. Well, Susie, thanks for the invitation. And I love hanging out with you, and I love your great work as well. So it's a pleasure to hang out together. So how I got started, I had at the age of 30, in 1987, I had a spontaneous kundalini awakening in meditation. And I was holding a piece of quartz crystal. I have one here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. And I was working in a spiritual bookshop in Santa Monica and reading near-death experiences and Ram Dass and things like this, and trying to solve the mysteries of my life at the time. And then this Kundalini awakening happened, and then we had the harmonic convergence, which was a big spiritual awakening. And during the convergence, I got invited to go do a workshop with Lazarus, channeled by Jack Purcell. And so I've studied with Lazarus for the last 32 years. And then 5 years after that started, I took a class in channeling and opened to channel from that class. And I've been channeling the same energy since 1992. So it's a joy.
Amazing. And so you just started offering channeling sessions to people?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it like when you first started charging money in exchange for your spirit services?
Well, I will tell you honestly, up until right now today, it still has its challenges, yeah, for me personally. But what I've learned is that there, of course, needs to be an exchange of energy. Otherwise, people don't understand or respect what we're doing with them. But yeah, I mean, I had a great week 2 weeks ago. I made about 800 euro in a week, actually. So that was extraordinarily good. Usually, I make somewhere around 1,000 euro a month, and that's enough to get by on, which I'm very happy with. But yeah, it's putting it out there to people, educating them what it is that I'm offering, and then giving them options of what they want to do: 30-minute session, 60-minute session, etc. I do my morning prayers 9 to 9:30 in Ireland every Monday through Friday. And then I have a little donation button there for people with that. I have an ebook for 4 euro. So, all these different ways that I can share what I'm learning from spirit with people, and they can support what I do.
When you first started doing that 30 years ago, was it strange? Did it feel weird, or was it natural? Like, this is my gift, I'll exchange it for money and support myself in this. What was that like?
I think it was all of those things. I think you've covered it very nicely. Yeah, it was strange and natural, and I think I'll give this a go and see what happens. I mean, honestly, I have other loves in life and other passions. Like I used to do acting when I was growing up, and that was a joy. And I play music. I have a guitar, and I've written songs, and I do that from time to time. And sing, that's a joy. But this whole spiritual thing really grabbed me by the collar and hasn't let go. And that's my greatest passion. Because, of course, like yourself, my friends, as we were just chatting before we got on here, we're living in such a powerful time of awakening, healing, and growth, is the way my guides put it. And so, I want to help people understand what's happening and find meaningful and fulfilling ways to respond to the challenges in life. And of course, being a channel for spirit is just a way to be of service. It's just a great opportunity.
Did you have to go through a period of learning how to trust? Like, okay, I'm
Go
not
through, like I'm done with it.
nice.
Oh yeah, trust. Oh, that was hard for a little while. Yeah, it's perfect now. Yeah, babe, it's every day. Sure, this is it. On the knees, talk to the boss. Get out of the way. The mid-afternoon wobblies, time to throw on the meditations. Get back to clarity. I've fallen off my bicycle. Time to get back on my bicycle. So yeah, is that,
I love your humility.
well, I tried everything else, Susie. So this is what I know what works, you see.
I mean, you've been doing this for 30 years. That's a long, that's longevity to support yourself with your spiritual work.
Sure, sure. I'm very stubborn in that way, you see. Yes. But it honestly, hon, just like you and I hang out right now, I've met just the most amazing people. And, like you said in your question there, did this feel natural? Yes, for part of me, this feels very natural. And I mean, this is what acting and singing and channeling all have in common, or writing. I like to write, poetry and channeling some books and all. So it's finding the music, feeling the feelings, and letting myself be surprised. So I mean, that's just an endlessly fascinating process, isn't it?
For sure.
You know.
Now, I was going to ask you a question, and I'll still ask it, but you've already sort of touched on it.
All
And the
right.
question is about integrity and how you maintain integrity, because you're teaching, you're sharing. How does that look in your everyday life? You mentioned getting on the bicycle, being down on your knees.
Sure. Sure. Well, I have my struggles with that too, honestly. And Lazarus has a beautiful definition of integrity. They say it's spontaneous honesty and responsibility. And so I try to work with that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Say that one more time for us, please.
Sure, with pleasure. Yes. Integrity is spontaneous honesty and responsibility. So, you were just saying nice things about humility, and it's like, yeah, that's what serves, being in our hearts, being in my heart, being able to help people. And, I get up against the wall, like everyone does. And then I have to really, pass the test. So sometimes I pass, sometimes I don't pass quite as nicely as I would like to. But, I haven't met a perfect person on the planet yet. So I think I'm in good company.
Absolutely true.
Thank you.
I call them mastery opportunities.
That's good. I like it.
That puts us in this place of empowerment. Like, we're not being tested by the universe, right? That's my perspective. We're
Yeah, that's
given
good.
these opportunities to develop more mastery. So
Yes,
there's no failing. It's always, just trying again, trying it a different way,
sure,
digging
sure.
deeper.
Yes, yes. Yeah, no, you have a great level of clarity yourself, my friend. You really do. And because perspective is everything, right? So what we think about something, what we believe about it, what we're willing to look for, all of that, is deeply impactful on what comes out of it. And the process is the product, and it's to be focused on the process and detached from the outcome. So that's the ideal that I strive to live by.
Tell us about your perspective about being a spiritpreneur, running a business from a spiritual point of view. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure, sure. Well, I mean, thank God for PayPal, because that's made life a lot more manageable. Um, since I've been in Ireland and doing my taxes here, I just print up the old PayPal and send it off to the accountant once a year, and that seems to keep everything turning over well. Um, I mean, honestly, it's changed a lot, Susie. For the first 5 years here, I've been here 10 years now. For the first 5 years, I was in my car and going to three different locations a week, which I loved, absolutely was wonderful. It was the thrill of a lifetime. And I was making like a flyer a week, and I would do a workshop a month. And then I gave up my car, so I've done everything online now for the last 5 years. So excuse me, it's gotten a lot simpler and a lot easier, just logistically. But the challenges of running a spiritual business are probably the same of for anyone who runs their own business. It's just that you do have God as your silent partner. So when you get in your own way, you know who to turn to get out of your own way, hopefully.
I I've never heard anyone say that. I love that.
Well, thank you very much. I hope it's helpful.
Silent business partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You must feel that with what you do.
Yeah. I wouldn't use the term God, but that's just me. But
Okay,
it's the same. There's force, there's source,
sure,
there's light,
sure.
there's that support.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one I like is the divine. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
This is
That, yeah.
and when I put my channelings down in writing, I say it's divine love. So because I'm channeling my higher self and my guides. So, I try to keep it as neutral and as friendly and as receiving or welcoming as possible. Yeah, yeah, because they don't care what we call them. They can give a damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're just happy when we actually join forces and work together, right?
they're happy when we call, just like any parents. They're thrilled. Oh, you thought of me. How nice.
So this is really good. This is something we've never touched on in any of the other Spiritpreneur videos. Having the silent partner, and if you're just starting out in your spirit business, or if you're struggling, or if you're looking to grow and expand, this is a concept you can use, calling on your silent partner.
Sure, sure, absolutely. And what I really want to say is, and I'm sure you know this as well. I mean, I pray, meditate, and write in my journal every day, and then I do the things that I'm inspired to do. And so when we're talking about really being of service, I find that of course, gratitude is hugely powerful, and being very intimate and open with the divine, talking to them like they're a friend, like they're right there, like they have the answer to the question. That is a wonderful practice. I've gotten much more comfortable with that over the last 6 months or so, I'd say. And yeah, then looking for the surprises. My rule of thumb at this point is it never comes the way I think it's going to come. And I find great peace of mind in that. Um, I used to be sitting in front of the restaurants or the bookshops or whatever, waiting for people to show up for my class or my talk or whatever, and they would be there or they wouldn't be there, and all that fun. But now that I've made peace with that, it's never going to be the way I think it should be. It's always going to be the way it wants to be for that moment for whatever good reason. So that's given me a lot more patience and peace of mind as well.
I love this, Lou. Okay, so you've been doing this for 30 years. And in that time, what I'm hearing, and maybe I'm hearing this incorrectly, but you still don't have like a tried and true system. Your system is showing up in the moment and allowing spirit and your soul to do what it's going to do with your business.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty accurate. But there's I think there's more to say about that, which is like the phrase from my guides is you have a foot in each world. And Jesus has the great phrase to live in the world but not of the world. And that is the heart of the paradox. So I do Zoom groups, I do morning prayers, I do people come over for sessions, or I have groups at the house, etc. Those things I kind of do pretty regularly all the time, because that keeps the vibration in a receptive place where people know what I do, and know how to find me and work with me. But then the fine tuning of it, the details of it, that is the mystery. Who's it going to be? How's it going to show up? That I don't know.
Yeah,
Some
I
days it's one person. Some days it's seven. You just don't know.
I really resonate with that. And in the business world, you hear things like sales funnel and marketing strategy and all of these things that can be overwhelming for people who have their feet in the spiritual world.
Sure, 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 sure.
And so you found a way to do that in your way.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Thank you for putting it that way, because it helps me to come back to what I wanted to say a minute ago, which was devotion. People talk about discipline and commitment, which is necessary and wonderful, but devotion is gorgeous. Devotion is, love, passion, spirit, mysticism, dancing with the mystery, dancing with the magic, the miracles. Devotion is you give it your heart. So what I do in my practice every day is I give my heart to Source, and I say, thank you for the opportunities that you're bringing to me this day, and try to stay connected to that peace of mind.
Beautiful. And
Thank you.
that way of approaching your spirit business may lead into the next question, which is,
Sure.
do you have any suggestions or advice for people trying to find clients, people trying to receive clients? Maybe they're brand new, or maybe they've been in it for a
Sure.
while and just, can't get that flow of having
Sure.
clients come in.
Sure, that's a great question. I think that we need to understand that for most people, they're not necessarily familiar with what we're really offering. And so there needs to be a kind of, for me, um, uh, different offers that are available, the different things to choose from at different levels. So that's why I'm glad to do the videos, and that's why I'm thrilled to get to chat with you here. Anything that puts our energy out into the world is going to serve, what we're here to help to create and to help to share with others. So a lot of that needs to be just the pleasure of giving and being of service. And then, once people get, what I find that happens is the inner self of the person, your clients, what have you, they get lit up and they decide, okay, I'm going to take the next step. My joke is the hardest part of any session is deciding to have one, because that's my experience giving and receiving. Because once you realize, okay, I really need to do this, I really want to do this, I can afford to do this, I'm willing to do this, great. Then you've overcome the biggest hurdles, because once you make that decision, then spirit goes, okay, here we go, and you just come out the other side of it and you go, wow, that was better than I had imagined possible. So, there's the energy of offering and inviting and educating, and then there's trusting and being a good representative of what you are sharing with people. Being a good student of what you're teaching is the easiest way to say it. And then, just really having fun with it. I mean, that's the whole point. This is great news for any human being with a brain and a heart on the planet, that there's help available and we can live a more meaningful life. So I think we're in a growth industry. There's no doubt about it.
So I'm hearing you say that an important component of receiving clients is showing up and sharing your energy in joy and passion.
Yes, yes, yes. Being grateful for the opportunity of what we do understand and what we do know. I mean, honestly, the my life was completely different before my awakening and afterwards, in a hugely much better way. I see the same for you. And so the challenge for us that have been given these gifts is, what can I do with them? And how can I share these ideas and these energies with people in a way that they're open to receive them? So, thankfully, of course, we have Abraham and Esther Hicks. We have Oren and Da Ben. We have Lazarus. We have Paul Selig. There's many, Bashar. There's many wonderful teachers on the planet. And I think they're all laying great energetic foundations for the rest of us, to step into, so that people are becoming more aware of their spiritual inheritance and getting that desire to understand more about who they are. So it feels like it's happening just very elegantly.
So you take a more, let's see if I can find the right words. You take like a soul guided approach to getting clients
Yeah,
rather than a strategical formula.
yeah, yeah. I'm a stand-up philosopher. That's my job description, or God's holy fool. However you want to, whatever fits better. But yeah, it's like being an actor or a comedian or a musician. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to be sharing and learning in front of people, and you're going to make a lot of lovely, wonderful, big, beautiful mistakes. Good for you. Enjoy that, you know. But yeah, if people feel your integrity, your sincerity, your passion for these things, it speaks to them very deeply, and then they're moved to trust us. The other thing I say is my job is earning people's trust. And so, when people trust us, they're saying, okay, you've made sense to me so far. What about these deeper areas of my life that I'm really struggling with? And we work on that and we see what we can do.
On that note, can you share with us uh, your favorite transformation that a client has had from working with you?
Right. That was a tough question. Of everything I looked at, I thought, oh, that's the toughest one. Well, yeah, I'll share with you right now. I mean, I just was in a session with a client, and she's an extraordinary woman, and we've been working together for about 3 months, maybe. I love her to pieces, and I won't say her name, of course, because that's not fair. But she went from being working in a prison to letting that go, and now becoming just an amazingly tuned in and wide open channel for spirit. And it is still two steps up, one step back, like it is for everyone. But that's as dramatic an example as I can bring to mind. And of course, again, my friend, like you, we really never know how much of an impact we have on people, because so much of it happens after they leave our site or whatever. And it's, you know, um, our relationship to God, source, spirit, whatever name we like, is the most intimate, personal thing any human being has. So that we have any opportunity to help people understand how that can work better is such a huge privilege, every single time. And so, yeah, people go through these tremendous changes. We hear about some of them, but a lot of them, just happen outside of our attention.
I think that's a really good point, that we don't know what happens down the line, like once they leave our sites or once they're not working with us anymore, but the energetic impact that ripples out to infinity. We really don't know, you know,
Sure,
who else that's going to touch.
sure,
We're
sure.
going to
That's right.
show up and do our thing.
Yeah, that's right, hun. And you know that one well. And that's why it's just the coolest thing in the world, to get to touch those hearts and open those minds and help people realize that things can be different.
What's the favorite, what's your favorite part about what you do in your spirit business?
That I'm constantly surprised is really, I think, the theme of the day here, for sure. And I think that's what I've come to realize. I really want that. I don't want this to be just routine, and it never is. It's always organic. It's always alive and spontaneous in the moment. And again, the great thing about channeling is it's always more than I think it's going to be. I always learn something in the process, excuse me, of helping someone else learn something as well. So, this is the grace of service. We're all blessed by it. It's an amazing process.
Love it. Thank you so much, Lou, for taking time out of your busy, busy day
You're so welcome.
and sharing with us here, how we can become better, how we can expand more with our spirit businesses and different approaches. What you've shared today is very different than some things that other people have shared. So I really
Sure.
appreciate your perspective and what you're bringing to the table and the matrix templates for spirit business.
Thank you, sweetheart. It's a pleasure to know you and to work with you. It's a joy to be here with you. Thank you.